The atmosphere around this India versus New Zealand match was filled with anticipation long before the first ball was bowled. Cricket fans from both nations had their eyes fixed on this encounter, knowing that whenever these two teams meet, something intense is bound to unfold. India, playing at home, carried the weight of expectations from millions, while New Zealand arrived with their familiar reputation of being calm, calculated, and dangerous when underestimated. As the teams walked out onto the field, the crowd buzzed with energy, the kind that only a high-stakes international match can generate. From the very beginning, the contest felt balanced. The pitch looked good for batting, but there was enough in it for the bowlers to stay interested. India's captain looked confident at the toss, making a decision that would shape the rhythm of the game. New Zealand, unfazed by the conditions or the crowd, prepared themselves with quiet focus. Their players are known for adapting quickly, and that trait once again became visible as the match progressed. The opening overs set the tone. India's bowlers came in with discipline, maintaining tight lines and lengths, testing the New Zealand openers with movement and pace. Every dot ball was celebrated by the crowd, while every single run was earned through effort. New Zealand's batters, however, showed patience. They didn't rush, they didn't panic. Instead, they absorbed the pressure, waiting for the loose deliveries to capitalize on. This early phase of the game was a classic example of control versus resistance, and it kept the audience deeply engaged. As the innings developed, boundaries began to flow. A crisp cover drive here, a well-timed pull shot there, and suddenly the scoreboard started moving faster. New Zealand's top order found rhythm, rotating the strike effectively and punishing mistakes. India's fielders stayed alert, diving to save runs, throwing themselves around to maintain intensity. The contest wasn't just bat versus ball. It was a test of athleticism, awareness, and mental strength. One of the defining moments came when a breakthrough finally arrived. A well-planned delivery, executed perfectly, resulted in a crucial wicket. The roar from the crowd was deafening, and the Indian players gathered with renewed energy. For a brief period, momentum seemed to swing India's way. New Zealand, however, have always been a side that responds well to setbacks. The incoming batter settled quickly, showing intent without recklessness, ensuring that the pressure didn't translate into collapse. The middle overs became a fascinating tactical battle. India introduced spin, hoping to slow the scoring rate and force errors. The spinners varied their pace cleverly, tempting the batters into risky shots. New Zealand countered with smart footwork and calculated aggression. Instead of going for big hits immediately, they focused on gaps, turning ones into twos, steadily building partnerships. This phase highlighted the intelligence of New Zealand's batting unit and their ability to read the game situation. As the innings moved toward the later stages, the tempo increased noticeably. The crowd sensed something special, and every delivery felt significant. Big shots began to clear the boundary, bringing excitement and tension in equal measure. Indian bowlers tried Yorkers, slower balls, and wide lines, searching for control. Some deliveries worked perfectly, while others disappeared into the stands. It was a reminder of how unforgiving modern cricket can be, especially in the death overs. A standout performance emerged during this phase, as one of New Zealand's batters played an innings of composure and authority. The shots were clean, the decision-making sharp, and the confidence evident. Each run added pressure on India, forcing them to rethink their strategies. Yet India didn't back down. A sharp catch in the deep, followed by a clever change in bowling, kept the contest alive and prevented the score from becoming completely out of reach. When New Zealand's innings finally came to an end, the total on the board was competitive, challenging, but not impossible. The crowd buzzed with discussion, analyzing every moment, every missed opportunity, every brilliant play. India now had a clear task ahead, but cricket has a way of rewriting expectations, and everyone knew that the chase would bring its own drama. India's openers walked out with confidence, greeted by thunderous applause. The first few overs were cautious, as they assessed the conditions and the New Zealand bowling attack. The bowlers hit good areas early, testing the batter's patience. A few boundaries eased the nerves, but there was no reckless aggression. India knew the importance of building a solid foundation. Soon, the contest intensified. New Zealand struck early with a breakthrough, sending a ripple of excitement through their camp. India responded by stabilizing the innings, focusing on partnerships rather than individual brilliance. The batters communicated well, rotated the strike, and punished anything loose. The chase was on, and it was unfolding exactly the way fans hoped it would. Competitive, tense, and unpredictable. The middle overs once again proved crucial. New Zealand introduced spin, aiming to choke the runs and force mistakes. The field placements were aggressive, signaling intent. India's batters countered with smart shot selection, using the crease effectively and finding gaps. Every over seemed to carry its own mini-battle, and the scoreboard pressure remained constant. A turning point arrived when a key Indian batter found their rhythm. With elegant strokes and confident footwork, the runs began to flow more freely. The crowd erupted with every boundary, feeding energy back into the team. New Zealand, however, stayed disciplined. They didn't let frustration creep in, sticking to their plans and waiting for opportunities. As the required run rate hovered within reach, tension filled the stadium. A sudden wicket brought nervousness, followed by another moment of brilliance that shifted momentum again. This back-and-forth nature of the match kept viewers glued to their screens. Every delivery felt like it could change the outcome. The final phase of the chase was pure drama. Calculations ran through every mind. Runs needed, balls remaining, wickets in hand. India pushed hard, but New Zealand fought back with determination. Fielders saved crucial runs, bowlers executed pressure deliveries, and batters took calculated risks. The noise from the crowd rose with each passing moment, creating an electric atmosphere. In the end, the match came down to fine margins, the kind that define great contests. Regardless of the final result, this India versus New Zealand game stood as a reminder of why cricket is loved so deeply. It wasn't just about winning or losing. It was about skill, resilience, teamwork, and the ability to handle pressure on the biggest stage. This match added another memorable chapter to the growing rivalry between India and New Zealand. Both teams showed respect for each other's strengths and pushed themselves to the limit. Fans witnessed moments of brilliance, moments of heartbreak, and moments that will be replayed and discussed for years to come. As the players shook hands and the crowd slowly began to disperse, one thing was clear. This was a match that delivered on every expectation. It had intensity, strategy, emotion, and drama woven together into a captivating story. For cricket lovers, it was not the end. Subscribe for more.